Alright, sickos, today we're going to make this mutilated hand out of nose and skull wax. And I like to imagine that someone was working near some machinery and it got stuck. And they tried to pull it out, and some of it got left behind. So first of all, I'm going to start off by putting band-aids on the two fingers that are going to be tucked down, just because it gets hard, at least for me, to hold those fingers underneath. And we're going to start by trying to colour match the nose and scar wax. I will link a video that's really good by Stuart Bray, and he shows how to colour this using cream or oil-based makeups. So I'm using like a palette of 5 colours that are just skin tones that are grease paint. But it's also helpful to have other colours, like if you have some purples, blues, greens, reds, whatever it is, to kind of match that one person's particular skin tones. So I also add a little bit of red face paint that I have here. But I'm still working on getting this right. I don't quite get the colour right at first, but that's okay, you can fix it later. I'm going to use a toothpick with the sharp ends cut off to attach the bone to have the bone sticking out. I'm going to use Prosade adhesive for this, but you can use any kind of adhesive that you have. Spirit gum will work or whatever. I'm just using Prosade because it's here and I have it. And my spirit gum cap is glued shut. So I'm just going to place the Prosade over the knuckles where the attachment points are, and on the side of the finger where the cuts will go and where the nail will go. Now this is a bone coloured wax that I have. I think it's called bone wax, but you can use just normal nose and scar wax and paint it white or add white colouring, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. I bought it ages ago, not really knowing why, I just was attracted to it. So it finally has a purpose. I'm just going to build up, looking at just photos of anatomy, try and replicate the structure of the bones in the upper half of the finger. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try and get it as close as possible. I'm going to create, I put a little bit too much Prosade, so I take that off. I'm going to create the end by putting a little bit of wax and smoothing it out with a spatula tool. It does help if you get Vaseline on the tool to lubricate it, to kind of spread it out better. And also you know, of course, can use your fingers, which I'm doing here, to kind of shape the end to make it a bit more like asymmetrical, I guess. Oops, sorry, that brown fuzzy thing is my head. I haven't quite seemed to find a spot where I can put the camera that my head doesn't get in the way. So now I'm creating, so I wanted the first finger to be completely degloved. The second finger I wanted to be mangled and kind of like half still there, but the bone and everything gone, just like the side of the flesh. And then the ring finger, I wanted a couple of cuts down the side, and then I wanted the nail to be shattered. So I'm just creating where the 2 cuts will be now. And smoothing it out. So I pushed in the edge where the wax is of the bone, and then added a bit more wax around the bottom of the skin colour to kind of hold it in place. And now, using a little bit of Vaseline on the tool to lubricate it, I'm putting in the lines of the fingers, like the lines of the knuckles and of the skin, and then you can go back over it with a small paintbrush, also lubricated with Vaseline, to kind of make those lines not look so sharp. To kind of continue the texture of the skin onto the wax. And now I'm, you can't see it, I am putting the 2 cut marks into the side of the finger at an angle and trying to kind of push the skin away so it looks a bit flappy. Now, to try and match the skin tone better, and again at this stage it probably didn't really need to, but you know, it's me. I'm using Skin Illustrator to try and correct the skin tone, but if you have, you know, the cream makeups, you can totally do this at the beginning and just try and get it right in the wax, which is easier. So I put some olive tones down, and then I put some vein tones down, and then I put some like tan colour down, and then I put some more pink down, because apparently I'm, I don't know, not quite so good at matching skin tones yet. That's okay. Practicing. So this is a blue. And some darker tan colours. Now putting some pinks back in. And then eventually going, good enough. Let's put some blood in there. So those colours are from the Skin Illustrator Flash palette, and then I get the Skin Illustrator SFX palette later. So these are just natural style acrylic nails. They do look quite feminine here, but you cut them down and cut them up and it gets better. So I'm going to first cut them down so they're as short as his nail, which takes a bit of going back and forth until it's the right height. I'm going to cut up the nail into different shards where it's going to be split, and I'll attach a video where someone shows you how to do this in a lot of detail, so that helps. So I'm going to use some nail glue on here because the prosade's pretty much dried, and the nail glue I think works better for this. Not nail glue, eyelash glue. I'm going to put some eyelash glue in here because the prosade's dried up a bit. So now I'm using the Skin Illustrator SFX palette, or FX palette, whatever it's called, in the blood colour to try and start laying down those first blood tones in the wounds. I don't know why I do this, because honestly it ends up getting covered by a lot of the bloods and blood gels. I think my reason was that I've seen other people doing it, and if the blood kind of wears off or smudges off, you've still got that layer underneath which will look realistically red, and I do like different kind of textures and colours. So I placed down one part of the nail, and then I put down some cotton fabric, or like some cotton fibres, and then coloured that red with the dried blood Skin Illustrator, but you can do it with lipsticks or cream makeups, whatever, and then placing the last shard of nail on top of that, kind of at an angle, like it's just hanging on. And then this is the blood gel. So this has been a nice fresh scratch, and I like how it adds this really gory element. It just kind of looks so meaty, so I like adding that around bits. So I put it around the bone, and I put it on the half ripped off bit, and I kind of put it around the nail, but I don't think I put any on the cuts because they're going to be more runny blood. Now this is dishwashing liquid, and I'm going to put it over the wax because the wax surface makes the blood bead up in a very obvious way. So if you put dishwashing liquid either on the surface or mixed in with the blood, it lets the blood sit on the skin, looking a lot more natural. I'm going to start adding blood into the cuts in the nail and onto and around the injuries. And then this is Kensington Gore by Mold Life in dark. I use a tissue to kind of smudge it around a bit, and then the brush to flick it around, and I like creating different kinds of surfaces, and I like creating different kinds of textures with the blood and putting some on and then taking it back. I know I have a habit of putting too much blood on, and so you can't really see any of the work that I've done, but I just really like blood. Once you played around with the blood a bit until it looks right, then you've got the finished piece. So here are some deliciously gory close-ups. I think I like the ring finger the most. Something about split nails and that soggy looking cut skin. I don't know, it's gross. I like it. And now, because I have to take it further, here is a video of the fingers wriggling and me picking off bits of the nail and the bone. Enjoy!